What's up, people viewing by YouTube? My name is Pat, otherwise known as RageRover, and in today's video I am taking you into my fourth garage in my mini-series in GT Online, showcasing all of my personal vehicles that I have stored away. And this particular garage is just my off-roading slash sports slash SRT garage, whatever it may be. It just houses a bunch of different vehicles. Nothing really classified like my last few garages. One was all muscle, the other one was sports classics, cruisers, rat rods, etc., etc. But without that out of the way, let's go and take a look in my fourth garage. Okay, first up in the garage is my benefactor Dubsta, and obviously just by looking at it, I've definitely built it to be off-roady, as opposed to the real-life counterpart of this vehicle is the Mercedes G63, and because it is sporting a V12 motor, in real life these G63s, if it had the V12, it would probably be the AMG version, which is a ridiculous amount of money. I think about $250,000 for that SUV. Now this particular Dubsta, I actually didn't just pick off the street. I actually went hunting for this particular one just because it's already tricked out with everything that you see on there, and the only thing I did was change the wheels, the color, and a few other amenities. Now the one thing that differentiates this one from a typical Dubsta you'd find off the street and modify is the fact that it already comes with a spare wheel already mounted on the tailgate, and it's offset off to the left. Now if you put one off of a street found Dubsta in the Los Santos custom shop, it would put the spare tire in the center of the tailgate, as opposed to what is already found in the Vinewood Hills. It's already mounted off to the left. Now I thought about putting a spare tire in the hood, but that would be ridiculous because there's already a spare wheel sitting back there. Not like you can really change your wheels in game anyways, in case you have a quote-unquote flat. But overall, I just decided to just keep it a simple off-roader, because that's basically what the G-wagon was really meant to be, was a good, sturdy off-roading SUV. Alright, moving right along is my Dubsta 6x6 by Benefactor, and obviously it is definitely the Mercedes G63 AMG 6x6, which is an actual production vehicle for, once again, a ridiculous amount of money for an off-roading vehicle. But considering its uniqueness being a civilian 6x6, yes, I decided I wanted one for myself, and so therefore I went with an original type build just to make it look like the real-life counterpart. So therefore I went with the stone silver metallic with, I believe, a bronze pearlescent to mimic the same exact paint that you would see on the real-life vehicle. And I went with these particular wheels, the military specs or mil spec wheels, and I didn't do anything over the top. I just wanted to keep it original looking, so therefore I didn't go with an off-road hood. I just went with a chrome brush guard and the roof rack. Now the real life version does have lights on the roof, but it doesn't feature a rack, so therefore I just went with the simple rack and lights, and that's really about it. I didn't really do anything else to the vehicle, didn't make it any faster than it already is, and that's it. Okay, next up is my Canis Mesa, and this is the off-road version of it, obviously, and it being a Canis, hence Jeep knockoff, it is definitely a JK Wrangler 2007 to present, and I really didn't do anything else to this vehicle other than give it a bright orange paint job, and modified a little bit of power under the hood just to get it to get up and down hills and steep grades, because it is slightly underpowered to try and get up simple hills, which is rather sad based on how tough it looks. So I mean, I just kind of kept it simple. And the one thing that I like to do with this Canis slash Jeep is I like to, because in the interaction menu you can actually open all your doors, I open just the passenger doors and the driver door, and I purposely back up against a pole and knock them off, and I drive around without any doors on, just like how some people would do with their real Jeeps in real life. So other than that, that is it for this Jeep slash Canis. Okay, now we got my Vapid Sand King, and the Sand King makes its appearance since, I believe, San Andreas. and it was in Vice City as well, but now it is definitely just a typical lifted American pickup truck, particularly a 2008 2009 Ford F2 or F350 Super Duty with the quote-unquote turbo diesel. And if you actually listen to the engine sound of this truck, it does sound like, in my opinion, an old school two-stroke Detroit diesel, but that's just my opinion. Now, when I went with this build, I just wanted a simple lifted pickup truck, so I kind of went with like a King Ranch or Lariat version of this truck with the roll bar in the bed, and I went with just a simple white paint job with the once again, I went with a stone silver and bronze color, kind of like what you see on the Dubs to 6x6. And it's actually, there are some trucks out there with this exact two-tone scheme out there in real life. And other than that, I mean, I went with a simple brush guard up front. I didn't want to do anything funky, which I don't like in the mod shop. When you add bumpers, they actually drop the bumper level down to damn near the ground. So therefore, when I went with bumpers, I just went with chrome tow hooks. That's it. And as for the wheels and tires, simple chrome off-road wheels with the white letter off-road tires, and that's about it. As far as modifications under the hood, I added a turbo kit to it, played with the transmission a little bit, and that's really about it. Other than that, I just kind of kept it simple. Okay, here's one that you don't typically see a lot, especially in some online sessions, but I particularly like it just because I work on trucks like these for a living, and this is the Vapid Guardian, and it is based off of that of the F6 and F750s, and I believe this is just going to be an F650 because it's the pickup version of it, and I just went with originality, simplicity for this particular truck. Chrome wheels, off-road tires, but no white letter tires because it being a medium-duty truck, so to speak, it would look kind of goofy with the white letter tires in my opinion. The chrome stacks, and basically for secondary color I went with chrome just because I felt appropriate for the fuel tanks to be chrome along with the front end. And if you actually look up the real life version of these F650s, a lot of them actually have chrome bumpers and chrome grills, so therefore that's why I went with the chrome as secondary color and just a dark blue color. And I mean, there's nothing else I really did to this truck other than just kind of keep it badass originality, and well, that's really about it. Okay, moving along to the sports car section of my garage, I guess you could say. I've got a collection of Coquettes. Obviously Coquette is supposed to be Corvette knockoff, and in Viterro I'm not sure what that is supposed to be in real life, other than we all know that Corvette is manufactured by Chevrolet. Now this particular Coquette is technically the topless version, but I decided to put the top back on it. I liked the idea of having a slash T-top slash open roof car, and I did modify it actually at one point with a body kit and a nasty, real long, tall spoiler off the back. But I decided to do something simple with this one, and once again, if you watched my videos, I like simplicity, so therefore I mimicked this one off of the Corvette that Hennessy Performance actually made I think a year or so ago, and they basically put a turbo kit on a C7 Corvette, which this car is based off of, and made it really fast. It broke 200 miles an hour out there on a Texas highway, and that's exactly what I built this car to be. I went with the wheels that kind of look like the Hennessy version and put a full cage in it, made it as fast as possible, and it is actually a very good handling car. I basically left the outside of the car stock other than the wheels and the roll cage, and that's really about it. Other than that, I really actually do like this Coquette. Okay, next Coquette that I got in store for us is the Coquette Classic, and it being a 63 to 67 C2 Corvette, I went for originality when I built this car. And when they actually brought this out for the one particular DLC, I think it was the Flight School DLC that happened a year and a half ago or so, I can't remember exactly when, but I actually liked the fact that they brought a second version of this car out, and so I decided to just kind of keep it original, but with a kind of custom paint job. Now this paint you could actually find on some of the C2s, but I just went with the wire wheels, chromed, and side pipes. Didn't really do anything under the hood, just kind of kept it simple. And yes, I went with the convertible version. I did want to originally at one point get the hardtop version, just because it would be rocking the split window, which was something I really liked of the C2 Corvettes. But I decided, you know what, if I'm going to have a Corvette that's going to be a convertible, it's going to be this one. So therefore, that's why I went with this car in the convertible version. So that's that. Okay, the last Coquette that I'm showing is the Coquette Blackfin, and it is definitely based off of the C1 Corvette, particularly I want to say mid-50s, 55, 56, maybe 57. It's hard to tell, but because it's not rocking the dual front headlights, some could argue that it is based off of something foreign, which I could understand why. Now, I decided to go with the hardtop version of this car when I was building it, just because I already got another Coquette that's already a convertible. I don't really need a second one. Plus, I actually like the roof line on this one, as odd as it looks, being a 50s sports car. But I kind of went with a resto mod type build with this one. Just a classic red paint, chrome 5-spoke wheels, modified it under the hood, kind of like what some people would do. They would probably rip the old 350 or 327 that was in it, or even the smaller i6 in it and put an LS motor in it. But that's just my opinion. And then just went with the simple vented hood. And other than that, I didn't really do anything else to the car. I didn't even lower it. I just kind of kept it the way you see it. So that is that for all of the Coquettes that I have. Okay, next up, I guess we could say this would be the SRT part of the garage, and I'll explain why. Now, I have here the Bravado Gauntlet, and obviously the Gauntlet is modeled mostly off of a Challenger 2009 to present. Now, at one point, I mean, it's definitely a hodgepodge Dodge, just because it features different amenities from different modern sports cars, modern sports muscle cars to be exact, and particularly the taillights. This is what really threw me off. And they're obviously that of the 5th gen Camaro, and just without the reverse lights. And I went with a quote-unquote Hellcat build. Now, obviously, the Hellcat definitely has a meaner front end as opposed to this thing. This thing kind of looks like it was swiped off a Camaro and just bondoed and fiberglass together to make it look like so. And I was kind of hoping that I would be able to change the hood to like a even just a carbon hood, just to black it out, because that's what the Hellcats really have, is the blacked out hood on the Challengers. And I just went with the lime green paint with the black stripe down the middle, and went with these, I believe they're called Cheetah RR wheels that you can find in the I think high-end wheel section when you're modifying the car. And I painted them the dark ivory, just to mimic the real life counterpart, and just lightly tinted the windows and modified the hell out of this thing just to make it as fast as possible, so therefore it mimics the 700 and plus horsepower monster that it represents in real life. Okay, next up, and I guess in my SRT section of the garage, would be my Bravado Buffalo S, or Franklin's version of the Buffalo. And once again, I kind of went with a Hellcat theme with this one as well, hence the wheels are exactly the same as what you find on the Gauntlet. And yes, both sets of wheels are available on both cars in real life, so therefore this, I guess you could say, would be the Hellcat version of the Buffalo. But it could also arguably just be a typical SRT8 for 2012 to 2014 Charger. But I decided I really like the Hellcats, the looks, the appearances, and also the crazy horsepower that they have, which is insane for a street car from the factory. So therefore, I just kind of kept it simple. I did modify a few things just to aesthetically make it look like a Hellcat. But nothing over the top. Once again, I kind of like to keep it simple and just make it look like the real life counterpart and just move on from there. And so therefore, yeah, it is fast as hell. It's modified to the max under the hood, and that's really about it. Alrighty guys, that pretty much wraps it up for this particular garage. Now, on a side note, well, the Coquettes. Yes, I do have two older versions of the Coquette, one from the 60s and one from the 50s, and technically these could fall into the sports classic category, which they really are. And also in real life, they are classic sports cars. But because I don't have any other room in my classic cruiser garage, I felt it was just appropriate to put it next to my modern day Coquette slash C7 Stingray. So anyways, that's where these vehicles reside, along with the SRT vehicles slash the Gauntlet, Buffalo S, and yes, I'm a big time Mopar fan when it comes to the SRT line, along with the new Hellcats that are out, and also the off-road vehicles. Yes, at one point in time, I was a big-time off-roading fanatic. I had a few vehicles that I modified myself in real life for off-roading. I'm not going to go too far into detail. Another note, I have an Instagram. Didn't even realize it until maybe a week or so ago, and I decided to start using it. So occasionally, yeah, photos and maybe a small video or two might pop up on there, alongside with my Twitter account. Links will be down in the description below. But anyways, if you did like the video, a like rating would be cool slash awesome slash appreciated, and also subscribe for content just like this, and also anything that might be covering vehicles in real life and anything else that I might encounter for vehicle wise. But with that out of the way, I will see you guys in the next video sometime soon.